What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Bull Combo. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. It's been another week, and that means we're covering another week's worth of news in the Metaverse. So stick around while we go over this week's weekly Metaverse update. This week, we're going to kick things off with Earth2. No, there hasn't been any new updates, no new features announced since the last coverage last week. However, there were some updates on the Earth2 news page, specifically related to some of the new features that were released. These pieces of news look like they were in regards to the Hollow Buildings release recently, as well as the automatic Know Your Customer verification feature that was recently released or added to the platform. So these are two features that have been around for a little bit now, but these are official news release or news updates on the E2 site related to them. I have to say they're pretty well done in terms of the wording and the level of detail in the announcement itself. I've already been pretty vocal about how I think the communication is sort of disjointed from the actual releases, so hopefully that's something that they can work on addressing in the near future. Nevertheless, it's encouraging to see some progress on the communication front in general, and hopefully they can just continue to expand on that with future releases. So for many players, the 14-day Mentor build period is ending or has just ended. So most users now have the ability to slot jewels onto their properties, and we're also starting to see that there's some UI issues right now when it comes to slotting jewels on your properties. Looks like when you try to drag a jewel onto a Mentor built property, the jewel sometimes doesn't appear as being slotted, sometimes it doesn't do anything. From what I can see, it looks like they're actually done behind the scenes, so it is happening. It's just the UI isn't updating. Nevertheless, it's been frustrating. Not to mention there's no automatic tool to slot jewels on your properties, so if you're working with a couple hundred properties, you're probably pretty beat for now. There is a unofficial script floating around that allows people to automatically slot tiles for all of their properties. I haven't used it because I have trust issues, but from what I understand, it's helped many people, especially those with hundreds or thousands of properties. So if that's something that you're facing, definitely look into that. Otherwise, you're probably just going to have to do like most of us did and go through and manually update those. The Sandbox. So last week, we saw the end of the extra waves that were added on to the end of the Summer Jam land sale. No currently announced land sales are on the horizon. However, we can expect some things to be announced here in the very near future. That said, we have some pretty interesting news to get through this week when it comes to the Sandbox. Probably the biggest piece of news, or the most exciting from my perspective, was their recent tweet highlighting that the Game Player Private Alpha will be coming in September. So the Private Alpha is basically going to be a playable version of the Sandbox experience, the Sandbox Game Player experience. It looks like initially this is going to be available to just landowners. Landowners will be the private alpha group, test users that are going to be utilizing it initially. However, I imagine it will probably be opened up to many other users after the fact, after they've gotten through the alpha. While we don't know the official date of when the alpha is going to go live in September, we do actually know quite a bit of detail surrounding what the alpha release is going to look like, and that's because the Sandbox already posted all of the information regarding the alpha release on their Medium page. So if you want to find out more information on that, I definitely recommend going over to the Sandbox media page or just Googling Sandbox alpha release Medium update. That should bring you the page that kind of goes over what we can expect from the alpha release of the Sandbox game player. Right now, it looks like we're going to be seeing the social hubs available along with a procured list of game experiences. Now, it sounds like initially the map's going to be pretty small, going to be shrouded in a cloud, but as the days of the alpha release go by, each day they're going to make more game experiences available. It also looks like they're going to be opening up the actual Metaverse-style travel systems and just testing out a lot of different things as well. I imagine there's going to be a lot of performance testing done here, a lot of tweaking done here so that they can get this in a state where they can roll out a beta that regular users can jump in and access as well. Nevertheless, it's really exciting to see them making this progress, and I think I can speak for everyone when I say that we're really excited to get in there and try out the game player, so can't wait to see that. A couple other real quick updates this week. The Vox Edit Architecture themed competition ends today, so make sure to get those entries in if you haven't already. And tomorrow is going to be the award ceremony announcement for the most recent Summer Jam, Summer Festival themed game jams. So definitely curious to see who wins that. Definitely curious to see all of the entries for the Vox Edit Architecture competition. And just excited in general for all of the amazing things that seem to be coming from the Sandbox platform. ifland, South Korean mobile company SK Telecom, has announced the official release of ifland is coming and will be available in over 80 countries. The company unveiled ifland just last month, and it allows users to communicate with others through avatars that can be personalized according to the user's likeness. The avatars in the metaverse could also be placed in various online settings, from cafes to studios, stadiums, and more. Such a platform is growing, and its popularity has been booming since last year. The company's plan is to launch in at least 80 regions worldwide, but for now, however, they've yet to reveal the specific countries that have been selected. This is the second time I've mentioned ifland. The first mention was just their initial announcement of their intent for the project. Now it looks like they're getting things a little bit more serious. SK Telecom is a very large company in South Korea, so they have a lot of backing, a lot of support, a lot of resources to make something like this a reality, and it seems like they very much are approaching it as something that they're very serious and intent on accomplishing. We don't know a ton more about ifland yet because we've only seen the previews as well as the press releases here, but I've seen many different groups very excited about it. The Korean K-pop groups in particular are extremely excited about it because it looks like it's going to create a new area for them to interact and engage and talk about all the things they're a fan of. So I did see a specific article regarding ifland and the K-pop groups. So interesting to see people like that excited about it. I imagine lots of other people are just going to be excited about the opportunity to have access to a metaverse in general. The metaverse options are growing by the day. I think ifland's just another one of these options. Curious to see what they do to make themselves stand out long term, but nevertheless, definitely something worth covering in this week's weekly update. Facebook. I feel like every week Facebook is on this update, and it's not for the same thing. It's always for something different. And, you know, as has been the case, Facebook drops something brand new this week that we need to talk about. And this week, we're going to be talking about Horizon Workspaces. This is a tool aimed at business and commercial planning. This week, the social media giant introduced Horizon Workspaces. Much like the Horizon social platform currently in beta, Horizon Workspaces provides VR access workrooms for next-level business gatherings and meetings. It's using features such as mixed reality desk and keyboard tracking, hand tracking, remote desktop streaming, video conferencing integration, spatial audio, and the new Oculus avatars. Feedback from those invited to try out the workrooms has been mixed so far, some finding the experience quite comfortable, enjoyable, and overly engaging, while others have found it overwhelming, exhausting, and fatigue-inducing. Regardless, this is definitely another impressive tool that Facebook is launching to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to metaverse expansion. It's no secret that Facebook's announced their intentions to jump headfirst into the metaverse, and this is just another example of them, again, putting their money where their mouth is, already releasing a feature or a trial of a feature that could have some very heavy benefit down the line. Basically a VR version of Zoom. Lots of people are starting to own VR headsets, especially Oculus Quests. So as that becomes more accessible, things like this are going to become more accessible. And while I don't own one of those for work, I don't know any other colleagues that do right now. I can imagine there may be a time when those are provided by a company to create another level of engagement when it comes to certain meeting types. So very interesting stuff coming here from Facebook. I know that Horizon's already something that they've been working on for well over a year now. The beta's been out since last summer for those that are using the Oculus Quest. I actually signed up for the beta and I've yet to receive an invite for it, so I don't know if they're not inviting new people right now, if they're in the midst of doing some updates, or if they've just kind of closed the period for right now. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Nevertheless, I am really excited to actually give it a shot. It's basically a VR version of Facebook, a visual, physical representation of everything that we used to post on this 2D wall. So, you know, pictures, videos, games, all sorts of cool things that you can put on your space in Horizon. So, just overall, really cool concepts coming here out of Facebook. I do think that this specific enterprise level or commercially geared tool could see some very big success. I know Google Hangouts, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, platforms like that are extremely popular when it comes to collaboration with work teams right now. So if this could become something that does take off, I could see it being very beneficial for Facebook. I do think that there's a steep entry level right now just because you have to have the hardware in order to access this, and I don't think a lot of remote employees necessarily have Oculus Rifts or Oculus Quests that they're willing to use just for a work setting. I also think that engrossing yourself in a VR meeting for too long could be a little bit disconnecting and possibly a little bit disorienting, especially for people that don't really enjoy VR. Kind of like myself, for some reason, just gives me motion sickness. I'm not really sure why. I can handle all sorts of things, roller coasters, the nine, but for some reason VR just messes with my brain. Nevertheless, I do think that there's a little bit of a barrier to entry right now, but as those pieces of hardware become more accessible, more common, I do think that things like this are going to take off a lot more. And I do think we could hit a point where eventually, instead of getting on a Google Hangouts or a Zoom call, people are jumping into a Horizon meeting space and having some sort of higher level of engagement. So definitely something to watch here from Facebook. We had a quick update here this week regarding Decentraland. MMA is coming to the Decentraland Metaverse. In a world-first deal, the Aquarium Casino has partnered with two UK-based fight companies, MMA TV and Prime, to showcase this special event. The event, which will physically take place in Norwich, will see the Aquarium Casino rebranded as an underwater fight club in the heart of the Vegas City District in Decentraland. Here, the fight will be broadcast live to Decentraland's virtual MMA fans in the virtual casino's underwater venue. On top of broadcasting the virtual MMA fight, they're also going to be selling limited edition MMA-themed collectibles at the virtual event. This is the second virtual event we've covered inside of Decentraland. The last was a Decentraland music festival. And while I think the user base for Decentraland is something that's still really trying to take off and still really trying to grow, the underlying platform and its capabilities are very robust and very impressive. And this is just another example of the things that we can do now and are probably going to see done more often in the metaverse. I see musical performances and sports as two of the biggest things that could occur in the metaverse and really create a major draw. And I'm curious to see how many people actually tune into this within the Decentraland platform itself. Again, I know the last music festival that they had there did not have a huge user base turnout, just because the user base isn't very large on Decentraland right now in general. But again, as accessibility becomes there, as it becomes easier to sign up or access Decentraland or play Decentraland or access any of these metaverses, I think the user base really will catch up. And the most important thing right now is that they have that strong underlying foundation, that strong backbone on the platform to be able to support these types of experiences, to be able to provide these types of engaging experiences to users as the adoption increases. So very cool stuff here coming out of Decentraland. And for all you MMA fans out there, maybe it's time to sign up for Decentraland and get in there and check out a fight. All right, guys, and the last update I had this week was regarding a brand new metaverse that I had not talked about previously, and this is High Street. The Vancouver, BC-based metaverse project High Street has raised $5 million in a new round of funding. The HTC-backed company has stated that this round of funding will be used to expand the engineering team and secure Unity artists to help broaden the project's vision. High Street World consists of fully explorable islands powered by brands and partners alike, each with residential areas as well as various phygital products, digital assets pegged to real-world products that'll be sold as NFTs. However, a key feature to this metaverse is the marketplace located at the center of High Street City. So it looks like High Street Market is a marketplace for redeemable limited edition products, with every item having a physical equivalent. This is something that we're seeing more and more, guys. NFTs that have a physical accompanying item, or vice versa, a physical item that has an accompanying NFT. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this. I think this is the first platform I've seen that's based their entire idea around this concept, but I do know that it already exists in many other NFT projects and in many other physical art projects as well. So very interesting stuff coming out here. High Street is a platform that I had not been familiar with previously, so I'm curious to see exactly what happens. It feels like we're mentioning a brand new one of these every week, and at some point the market's definitely going to get saturated, so we're going to see a lot of these show up, but only a few are really going to rise to the top and I think enjoy that long-term success. So very interesting to both see the new projects coming out and to just watch the life cycle and lifeline of these projects and see which ones shake out and which ones kind of fade away into obscurity. But High Street looks like another one of those metaverse projects to keep an eye on here. All right, guys, so that was all I had for this week. It seems like there's new metaverses being announced every week. There's new metaverse features and functionality being announced this week, and there's new hardware coming out every week that's allowing us to engage, access, or interact with the metaverse in new and interesting ways. So can't wait to see what next week holds. If you liked any of the stuff here, make sure to hit that like button. Like I said, it really does go a long way to helping with the YouTube algorithm, getting this video out to people that want to see it. If you have any comments or if you enjoyed any of the stuff you're seeing here, make sure to comment down below and let me know. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you for checking out this video. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel. I hope you guys have a fantastic Friday, an excellent weekend, and until next time, we'll see you soon.